And thank you for joining us. This is me, Ms. Rhonda B., coming to you from Voices of Mass Discussion. I am so excited, as always, to be having another guest on the show. You know that's what I do. I love to seek out the wonderful things that's happening in our community, and then I like to bring them and introduce them to the community. So our guest, his name is Mr. Dr. Michael Wilkins. I'll allow him to tell his story, but first I'd like to explain to him our format. The show is Voices of Mass Discussion. So what we do is we go through the community and we try to find out things that's happening in the community, things that's positive and upbeat. Because I'm on a personal mission to save our young people and let them know about the greatness, our greatness.
Absolutely.
Be proud to be Black. God picked you, and we, the elders, have left a chapter out by not letting them know how proud we are.
Absolutely.
So now I'm on that single mission on my second half of my life. Really, I'm on my third half, but on my third portion of my life, so that we can have this to lead back to our young people, so that they too can realize they're just as great, have a lot to offer. So our show is Who Are You, which is you're going to tell us what you do. What do you do? And then the bottom line is, why should this audience care?
Absolutely.
Okay. So now that I've got that out of the way, we will start with telling them there's so much that he has to tell. First of all, he's an author. He starts off with the title, Doctor, so he'll explain that. And then we're sitting in this lovely theater. And I always like to make sure people know who's behind the camera for us, because sometimes I'm taping Mary, sometimes she's taping me.
Okay.
And we support each other. And of course, Miss Mary T, from the Mary T perspective. So she's the behind the camera scenes, and we have a lot of common. We do a lot of good things. I don't drive, so she drives me around.
Okay.
So in addition to helping me do my shows, she just really kept me in my opportunity going.
Absolutely.
Because otherwise I'll be sitting at home telling, I can't drive, I wish I could.
Never that.
And I really shouldn't say can't, because I can drive, I just have nothing to drive.
Gotcha.
So, okay, enough about me. We're going to talk about you. Do we want to start with the theater? We want to start with your speaking organization? Or do we want to start with you being an author? Just where do we start with somebody's great as you?
Well, they kind of go hand in hand when we talk about the beginnings. And I first wanted to take an opportunity to say thank you so much, Rhonda B, and also Mary T, for this opportunity to share. The truth is, I was actually born and raised in the Robert Taylor homes, on 45th and State. That's
another beautiful part of the story. We need our young people to know that. It has nothing to do from where you come, it's the road we travel.
Exactly. And that's why I thought I should mention that, because statistically, I should be dead or in prison. But I'm here to say, being raised by a single parent, 9 of us in our family, we came from humble beginnings.
Okay.
Absolutely. So I know for a fact that truly I had an opportunity to do some things. And what we started was with the simple thing in terms of our speaking career that we did. Some years ago, we had an organization. It was called the National African American Speakers Association. And so back in 1987, we started that and as it grew to popularity, we had a number of chapters. Les Brown was actively involved in our organization, along with a lot of other people. Through that, I decided that there was an opportunity to do more, because once we became many of the members.
So let's back up a little bit and not assume that people are on the same page that we're on. What is a speakers organization?
Okay, what we do, and still to this particular day, is we actually provide professional training for those who are interested in becoming paid professional speakers. Now, what we always make sure is they understand the difference between a public speaker and a professional speaker. Public speaker can go out and speak to anyone at any particular time. Professional speakers, we get paid for it. So
well, I don't know why nobody ever told me about this, bro.
Well, yeah, you're here now. I'm here now.
Okay, well, make sure we follow up with that information, but go on.
Absolutely.
I sidetrack sometimes.
Not a problem. And what we found is that there were so many people who not only had the gift of effective communication, but it was so much needed, because if you think about it, especially in many of the communities today, The reason for a great deal of the violence that's taking place is because they do not take time to communicate effectively with one another. So as opposed to trying to work things out through verbal communication, it becomes physical altercation. So as a result, we understand the importance of that. And from that, we decided that what happens after that, because many times, and many of you have heard of motivational speakers, and they can move you and sway you and all those things, but sometimes you leave empty-handed.
Right.
So we knew and understood that the next thing was to become a published author.
Okay.
And so, of course, we went through those. We actually have our own publishing company now, and we help so many of our members become published authors, professional speakers, and we did so much more. I've always had a love for theater.
Okay.
And while this is a fast track, but the basic stuff was I've been writing, producing, and directing plays, stage plays, for about 17 years. And certainly we do plays for youth, for adults, everybody in between. And so one of the things that we have been working on for several years was getting our own theater.
Okay.
And trust me, it's been a trying process.
And we're there.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And people need to know everything needs a foundation. So like you said, it took you a milestone to get here.
Exactly.
But the message is always, he's here.
Absolutely.
So, continue.
Absolutely. So a couple of years ago, we found out the theater might be coming available, and they wanted to do something else at that particular time. So what I found is that I knew this is what we were supposed to be doing. So what happened is, through time, after a couple of years, we were contacted again, and then they finally wanted to talk to us about things they didn't want to talk to us about before. So, absolutely, exactly, and we were aware of that. So I think patience is more than a virtue.
Okay.
So, but we did. We finally came to agreement, and actually, June 13th is our official opening of this, what we call SPAA Theater, the Speakers, Producers, Authors, and Actors Theater, to provide some much needed live performances in this and surrounding communities. We do drama, we do musicals, anything that you could think of we do. But we do so much more in terms of just theater, because many times what we find is specifically our younger audiences are not always familiar with theater, or they hear the word theater, if it ain't a movie theater, they're not that interested. And many times it's because they're just not familiar with the many opportunities and things here, because absolutely, we do poetry, the people who think they can rap, we do those particular contests. Not only are there acting lessons, dance lessons, ballet, we do a CSI camp that we created sometime. We've been doing this for years throughout the communities, primarily through the park districts and things like that. But the CSI camp, the Crime Scenes Investigations Camp, we actually create a crime scene, let them investigate it, we provide them with all the material that they need. Sometimes the local law enforcement will come in and give them a background on CSI investigations. At the end of it, what happens is they interview and interrogate suspects. They have a mock trial, and at the end they find out if they really could, through the evidence, determine who committed a particular crime. And there's a lot of lessons involved in that, not only with collecting evidence, fingerprints analysis, blood. We go through so much in detail, but also the simple fact that if they're not careful, they too could arrest the wrong person. And we let them know how important it is for them to be aware of that, because these are things that are going on, unfortunately, too much in many of our communities.
And that's an excellent way to educate. I work at a school, and at the school I work at, there's a teacher, a former teacher. She's not there anymore, but she taught chemistry. And in the chemistry class, to try to help keep the kids interested and motivated, she did a CSI type lesson, because she knew they could relate to it.
Absolutely.
And then the kids really did forget that they were in this boring class and had to do work, because they were so intrigued with how she showed them how to do the fingerprint.
Absolutely.
And to let the evidence, the difference between the blood sitting a day or two
Exactly.
versus it being fresh. And it was just so many, and then the pictures, and she had the kids had, like one of the kids laying on the floor and someone else traced them, and they thought that was just so funny. But the thing is, the bottom line, because we always take our own messages from whatever the message is.
Absolutely.
So of course her thing was to get them interested and motivated about her chemistry assignment.
Yeah.
Their thing was just fun because they could relate to it from TV. But at the end, and at first I didn't none of it meant anything to me. It's like, okay, fine, that's cute, that's creative. But at the end of her lesson, and I say my thing is always education motivation.
Yes.
And enlightening that mind.
Yes.
So at the end of it, as you mentioned here about the wrong person being arrested, there's a message and a lesson that we have to constantly tell to our youth.
Absolutely.
It's not always that you committed a crime. Sometimes you could just be in the right place
At the wrong time. Absolutely.
And our kids are always running towards the problem because there's a thrill there.
Absolutely.
And they don't know anything about the reality
Yes.
of what can happen. And I'm even telling them not to run towards the crime because the thrill is there.
Yes.
You can't tell someone how to be the person they're coming to be, but you have to have the information. So you'll know when you run up on that crime scene, don't touch it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I'm just like on this whole mission about as many people that's past 50 years old that can give a message out to our young people, because I think there was a chapter missing.
Yes.
Because I'm always saying, how do we as a race of people make it through slavery, Jim Crow, and all the racism, and when our kids can't make it through today? But the difference is those older people, even though they were motivating us and pushing us to the possibilities, they were educating us on the realities.
Absolutely.
So we don't, we might tell our kids about the possibilities, but we don't tell them about the reality.
And they're both important, extremely.
Very important,
Absolutely.
because I just know as a kid growing up, and Mary and I talk about this all the time, because like I said, I'm a history buff and just love to always talk about, what happened. We have an acquaintance who passed away, and then Mary herself, and when I got to know them, we're always talking about, I'm always bringing it up, and get excited about something in the past, and they can always give me a real life story.
Yes.
I remember when I was on the bus coming from Tennessee, and we had to go to the bag.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, shut your mouth. That's not just something we read in a history book. It's like, no. Or how they would be at the Greyhound station and literally look down so that they don't bring attention to themselves to get caught up in the racism.
Yes.
That chapter was lost. Not that we had to go that far back and remind our kids about racism, but we still have to tell them about the struggles so that they won't feel when they're going through a struggle, it's just them. Or why am I going through the struggle? Because everybody gets a turn.
Absolutely.
But anyway, you know that. Anybody over 50 have to deliver the message to our young people that yes, you can do it, and there's a road to be traveled.
I absolutely understand and agree. And that's one of the things that we do. But some of the things that you brought up kind of to mind some of the other things that we do.
You're talking too low.
I think I'm talking louder than you. No.
I thought too. Because I forgot to speak up. That's interesting.
Yes, the other things, programs and stuff. For example, we do a film camp as well, where we have film equipment that we actually have the participants
So cool.
come in and they actually write a script.
Okay.
We allow them to shoot a movie. We teach them how to edit that particular movie.
Okay.
And
Where's
then
your studio? Where you
end of the
teaching
camp.
all this at?
Right here, we're doing everything right here
Who on
now.
the computer? What they editing on?
We got Final Cut. We got everything that we need for that. You got 3 offices back there you did not see.
Oh, he didn't show me everything. He got some secrets. Okay.
Well,
go on.
so, but yeah, we
I am getting even more excited. I was excited with what he did. There's so much you guys not see. There's a prop room back there. There's a builder room. There's clothes back there. You have, if you sit in at home and just have a vision, say, man, I wish I had this idea. I had this whole skit. I just wish one day. I'm telling you, he's going to give you his name and his website because you could call up here. Because he didn't even tell me this. I'm saying. You could call up here, run it past him, and he could tell you how you would get in where you fit in.
Absolutely.
But,
and we say that. we encourage folks. That's right. Come on. Get in where you fit in.
Right.
But we do that at the end of the film class. They actually have a short film, generally about 20 minutes, that their friends and family can come out and actually see what they did. And it is some exciting stuff that they do. So along with that, we have other classes that we teach, some of which I mentioned, from acting, dance, ballet, stuff like that.
Now tell us some age groups. Now when you say they, what are you talking about? Teenagers, kids, adults, a combination?
The answer is yes. From 6 to 70 literally have participated in many of our groups as well. Because of our organization, the Speakers, Publishers, and Authors Association, we're a national organization. We have 29 chapters around the United States. We have 2 chapters in Africa, 1 in China, 1 in Pakistan, and 1 in England. So because we have a number of professionals who are dedicated to doing what we've helped them to do.
Okay.
And so they come back, teach many of the classes. We have a thing that we do here called master's classes, and that particular class is to help people get certified as professional speakers, as professional writers, life coaches, etc. So we have a number of different things that people are involved in. We have professionals who teach those particular classes.
And I like to hear all of this because I feel with young people we need to meet them where they're at.
Absolutely.
So if we meet them where they're at, and it starts with, because we're in this instant time of our life where everything has to happen now.
Yes.
So what's interesting to them and what interests them, if they can learn from behind the scene how what works, what you're so interested in, they'll discover a talent or it that they didn't even know they had.
Absolutely. And it's a phrase that we created. We call it edutainment.
Okay.
Because it's education plus entertainment, because we know what you said, how to reach them.
Right.
Because one of the things that we liken it to is, I also happen to be the pastor of Created by Christ Ministries, a church.
Now you lost me. I like everything about them until you got there.
Okay, but my point is that some people never will step foot inside your church. Right. So, however, but there are some things that through theater and through other things that they can capture their attention, and I do understand why some people may share your opinion about those particular things. But basically, it has a great deal to do with the fact that either someone mistreated folks in the past, or they were beating them down with the Bible and stuff, and all of those particular things, none of which we ascribe to.
Right.
But our position does not change. Many of the people that you'll see, we have relationships, because we don't necessarily ascribe to what many people are familiar with that they call networking. Because generally, if you think about the principles behind networking, you know, you're out someplace, social environment, and got a drink in one hand, a card in the other, and you're passing them all around. Next day, you don't remember them, they don't remember you.
You forgot why you got that card.
Exactly. We specifically deal with relationship building opportunities and techniques, simply because we understand how important it is for you to develop a relationship with someone. Because if we do business together, what you'll find is statistically, you do businesses with people that you trust, people that you know, people that you like.
Right.
See, so what happens is many times if folks are only trying to get something from you, then it's a very difficult thing to build a relationship with that particular individual. So our thing is, and throughout our life, I know I've been blessed to be a blessing. That's what I say. So as a result, and I'm not being rude, I wear my hat often because of lights and sun. I have lupus, both types of lupus. Yeah, see, and so and that's why I have to keep my head covered, so I'm never being rude inside business. But I share that only to encourage people, because I know people who are stricken with lupus, who are bedridden and can't do many things. I was diagnosed back in 2010.
Okay, recent.
And but the point is 4 years and going, and I promise you, as long as I have breath in my body, I'm going to be doing something to help and encourage other people.
My cousin has lupus.
So then you're familiar.
I'm very
familiar.
So my ski buddy, she had lupus.
Yes.
She has it, lupus.
Okay. And that's why it's important that we do. And some of the things that you were sharing and talking about, for example, one of the books
this makes me so excited I met you, because my whole message is, you've lived your life. That I was just doing it because I just talked to everybody over 50. But that's another thing, because all of us never know, we're only one day from not being here.
Amen. That's the truth. And you don't like church, but you preach it. Yeah.
So the thing is, while we're traveling, then we need to be reaching back and educate educating, she really way with it, you know, educating our young people because you have everything to gain and nothing to lose. First of all, we're already older, so we've had our term, or had a term.
Right.
Then the other thing is because you don't know about your health and strength. And so what difference would it make to you if you left this earth and the knowledge is gone with you?
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that we also share because that's what I believe. And I, through a number of the seminars and workshops, and I've been speaking professionally for over 20 years, doing seminars and workshops. And one of the things that we share is I believe it's a selfish thing for you to die with your gifts inside of you.
Yeah.
And that's what the cemeteries are filled with, these people who've taken their gifts with them. And the fact is, that's what a gift is. It's something for you to give away to someone else. And so that's one of the things that we have to help emphasize. That's why it's important that many of our professionals understand how important it is to give back. So because of the many things that we do to help them earn their credentials, to be able to earn a living and more. But the fact is, if they don't give back
about themselves. Can you imagine the person who works their job every day, Monday through Friday, regardless of what it is you do, whether you enjoy it or not enjoy it. But then you have this burning passion, but you don't know what to do with it.
Absolutely.
And then to learn about these type of organizations and opportunity, twofold. One is you can put your thoughts, your passion, your vision out there. The other is you could get behind the scenes and help someone else with their thoughts, their passion, their vision. And it's just one big circle of what life should be about in the first place.
Absolutely, and that's why I think it's extremely important. And then we have a number of not only examples, but the fact that we've done that, been there. I've written over 17 books myself that I have, but I've literally helped hundreds of other people to become published authors. And the truth is,
because you're going to have to help me do something. I don't care which one of these things you're talking about.
Not a problem. We can do all of them. See, so that's what a lot of folks talk about that we share. And they say, oh, well, I'm too old. It's too late. But I say, as long as you still got breath in your body, it's not too late.
And you know, it's funny you saying that, you make reference to that, and like I say, and then when you said about the lupus, it just made my heart sink because I just know people with it. But Mary, I'll go back to my friend Mary over here. I had a car accident. It's probably been about 5 years ago now. So I was injured. I, wasn't able to drive. My car was totaled. So, but we do, we have been doing this all along. And so therefore, without my used to be world, that now would eliminate me from what I knew, right? And we knew each other, but we were acquaintances at that time.
Yes.
So then she's like, says, don't worry about it. I had to go to physical therapy. It was a lot of stuff. I had to go to physical therapy. I didn't have a car, didn't have a job. It was a lot of stuff. So Mary would always, call and check in and stuff like that. But don't worry about it. Still do your shows. She always kept saying that. I'm like, going to physical therapy, can't barely keep my eyes open in pain. And she would call almost every day. Don't forget to schedule your shows.
And that's important.
But then I said to Mary, because to me, my reality was, why do you keep saying that? I can't go anyway. I have no transportation now. I cannot buy the material. And then I promise you, she said, what does that have to do with it? Everything. I can't buy the material. I have no transportation. She said, well, I'll take you. Mary, no, I can't pay you for your gas. But this is what I'm saying. She always say the same thing, two things. Oh, that's okay, I'll do it because that's my ticket to heaven. And the other thing is, what difference does it make? Because I'm glad to be alive, to be able to do someone a favor.
I know that's right.
She's been saying that ever since I had it. I'm sure she said it before that, but it never came into my world because we didn't have no that type of relationship.
Right.
But she says that every time. She would call all the time. Did you schedule a show? No, Mary, I didn't. I went to rehab today. I did not schedule a show. But like I said, I wasn't even working. And she's just like, no, don't worry about it. I'll get the equipment. I'll buy the car. Because even though we're doing it for our own personal passion, there's still money involved.
Yes.
Then I was like, okay, well then I got $25, man, I'm gonna give you gas. Like, no, Rhonda, you need that $25 more than me. She don't want to be mean, but she's sort of blunt. She's blunt. She's like, you need that $25. And so, but anyway, so she kept my passion alive. And like I said, now that I'm back on my feet, sometimes I asked her, like, was she doing it intentionally? Was it just coincidental? And then, she said, well, no, it was just, coincidental. But then part of it is she also knew the side that people get depressed, and she just creeped up out of nowhere, keep me alive.
Absolutely.
So, but anyway, so that's why I'm excited when you say, because I didn't think about the illness part of it. I just thought about we're getting older anyway.
Right.
And so those are two things. Now, why in the world would you either be on a sick bed and not share any of this with anyone?
Absolutely, and we need a lot more people like Mary. And then, of course, the truth is, many of the things that you just shared, that's a book right there, because what we found is that many of the things that you've been through, and regardless to what you believe, whoever or whomever that kept you through those particular things, that is something to help you, simply because what happens now is there's an opportunity for you to share with someone else who may be going through, and you can continue to encourage them. So that's one of the things that is very, very important in terms of you sharing your story, because there are so many other people that have been through so much that sometimes they're still suffering silently because they think they're the only one going through. So, I think it's a wonderful thing to have people in your life like Mary. But what about the many out there that do not have Mary T's in their lives, so they can read your book or see something like that to help them to understand how important it is to go on, despite what your circumstances look like right now, despite your humble beginnings or where you came from, despite all the negative things that happened in your life, or all the people who looked down on you and told you you would never make it, despite all of those things, there's still a wonderful opportunity for you to do so much and more.
Okay, now how do people, and I'm not keeping track of time, I just see your people, it's not 6 o'clock yet, your people coming in early, but we're good to go.
Because that's our standard. They got to be here before time to be on time. That's how professional we are.
That's how my sister is a very punctual person. And so her thing is, if you're early, then you're never late.
Well, that's important to us. And the other thing, and I don't mind being able to say that we have a real problem with a lot of the stereotypes associated with African American owned organizations and things like that. We're not a black theater. Right. We're not a black company. Right. I just happen to be the founder and CEO of the theater and several of these companies, but we instill professionalism in all of the people and the things that we do. So if they're involved with that, they'll learn those things, and then it never becomes what many people refer to as CP time.
But then it goes back to the message to our young people. Being black is not an excuse.
Absolutely. Oh, no.
We're proud to be black. So
absolutely.
No, we're not teaching you that it's okay to come in late or whenever you get ready, and then it's because we're black. No, we're coming in on time because it's the right thing to do.
Absolutely.
And we're still black.
All day. All day.
And glad to be there.
Absolutely.
You know, and not for any other reason that's what God chose us to be.
Absolutely.
So he made the decision to make that seed black. So therefore, if you follow these people to go to church, I get confused at how you can't appreciate who you are when you say you believe there's a higher being. You know?
I know, and you say you don't go to church. Sound like some preaching to me, but nevertheless,
don't go there.
But I just wanted to share.
Do you have youth that's written books as well?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, there's a young guy. He's in his 20s, but he's still a youth to us. And he just written his first novel. We have a 17-year-old, we've got a 12-year-old, and an 11-year-old that's not only in a book, she actually runs 2 of her own companies. So we've got some folks doing some phenomenal things.
Now, do you have a program that you guys have put together where you go into the schools to introduce what you're doing to try to recruit kids?
We do not necessarily go into the schools, especially in terms of recruiting kids. What we do is we're generally out in the communities. And our programs have been in, like for example, with the colleges, we had relationships with many of the local colleges and community colleges, and we've done things but we brought the youth through those.
But I used to be a member of Toastmasters for years.
Okay.
I was telling Marion, we met here in Park Forest.
Right.
Over at that Freedom Hall Theater.
Absolutely.
And I just was not familiar with your group. I thought I was in both.
Absolutely. Well, I came up as a member of Toastmasters as well, and we think they're doing a phenomenal job with what they do. But what we know, the other aspect of that is, Toastmasters won't get you paid speaking engagements, and primarily that's what they do. But we expand that so far beyond into writing, publishing, acting, and now having a venue where we can do all of those things.
And people have to come here. Like I say, I have now put myself on his committee.
All right.
I've self-appointed myself
All right.
to make sure that we help educate, motivate, and uplift people about the opportunity. I'm always impressed with Park Forest anyway, and I tell Mary this all the time, because I used to sell real estate for years.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And we would sell property to people here in Park Forest.
Okay.
But then we would end up reselling that same house because it was just so far for them.
Okay.
But then the people who found this and made it home, it's such a vibrant and rich community. It just has so much to offer. The fact that this town is, you go walk through it. That's how small it is. But then it has 2 theaters in it.
Well, and more. Actually, I've been in Park Forest since 1979.
Oh,
So with a lot of the things that were here, that when it was thriving, of course, right now, I think is opportunities. What happens is many people have to have the vision to see beyond sometimes what they see. So having said that, there are always opportunities, regardless to where you are, where you're from, but you have to have a vision.
Right.
So we help not only create those particular visions, we help people actually achieve those goals and visions.
But see, I just like for people, whether you're young or old, to be around people who have vision, because sometimes, believe it or not, and what was that, Tony Robinson wrote that book about Wake Up the Sleeping Giant Within?
Yeah.
Okay, and I used to do these workshops and seminars, which is how I know yogi, because when I used to do my workshops and seminars, then part of it would always be a motivational piece.
Okay.
Always. That was always, no matter what I'm teaching, what I'm educating you on, there's always that motivational piece.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, if you don't believe in you, then there's nothing I'm telling you that's gonna matter.
Absolutely.
So that's always, every workshop, every seminar I've done, I've always opened up with with a motivational piece, a speaker.
Okay.
And so at the time, what I used to do, because I always have all these bright ideas, but these low budgets, so I contacted organizations that were training people to be comedians or motivators or motivational speakers, and then, okay, so I'm going to give you the audience.
Right.
Because I was on the radio, so one thing I can guarantee you, there's going to be 40, 50, 60 people in that audience.
Right.
Because I can market, I can pull out a crowd.
Okay.
Well, at least I could then. And so, okay, so
I'm
there's
sure you
always,
still can.
so there's going to always be an audience. So that much I can give you. And so you bring your literature, you market yourself. This is your testing ground, your graduation ground. So that was but what I discovered in addition to, because I always knew that I could write motivational pieces only because people told me. Because I never felt like, oh, I could write a motivational speech. Because to me, it's just common sense. You need to believe in yourself.
And they say common sense not that common anymore.
Not that common.
So.
But then what I discovered, because while I'm doing this comedy and the motivational speeches, and I'm always trying to put a twist, then I started writing songs. So everybody kept saying, you can write music? Well, now I can.
So can you sing?
No. So tell you, God, he just did not show up. He did not teach me how to sing.
Well, he can't give you all the gifts.
And what I never can understand, because people always say, you can write music, that just never made any sense to me, because it's the same poem I wrote, it's just now we call it a song. But I can never understand how you could sing so well, but then you can't write the song.
Well, I'm with you. I don't sing, but I've actually written songs for a lot of our plays. I write many of the songs and the music as well. So I've been doing that for quite some time.
See, I would never have known that though, had it not been for me trying to motivate other people. Absolutely. That's why I'm so motivated and telling other people to get involved, whether you have a vision or if you're just trying to help somebody else's vision, because God has a message for you.
Right.
It's just that you haven't listened. Not that he hadn't told you, you didn't listen. So therefore, when you get involved with somebody else's vision, your strength is going to constantly surface.
Absolutely.
Somebody's going to be doing something, they're going to be thinking they're so wise. And then your mind going to keep saying, this could be done like this should be done like that. Then one day you're going to say it. And then it'll repeat it. Anyway, I tell you, you're the minister. So anyway, but I want people to know you have to get involved because you have a gift and you have a strength. You just don't always know what it is.
Absolutely. And this is a wonderful opportunity for them to come out to discover what it is. I think there are too many people walking around that still do not know what their purpose is in life. Right. And one of the things I've written about, I just recently wrote another book that'll be out in a week or so. It's called Mississippi Mindset, the Attitude of a Nation. My grandfather was actually the first black man to register to vote in the state of Mississippi.
Oh, okay.
And as a result, of course, there were some issues with the KKK, who we later discovered was actually the sheriffs and deputies. But the point is that what we found is you don't have to live in Mississippi to have a Mississippi mindset. And what we found is that while a great deal of this stuff was taking place back in the 60s, some of those mindsets still exist today. And those are some of the things that are preventing many of our youth and even some of the older people from achieving some of their particular goals in their lives. So we are actively involved in doing so many things to make sure that you have an opportunity. And if you don't take advantage of those particular opportunities, you can't blame your mother, Nim, your auntie, Nim, nobody else, the color of your skin, if you're too small or too big. Nothing else can you blame but yourself if you don't take advantage, exactly, of the things that are made available to you. It's just like anything else. We tell people sometimes you just have to show up before you can go up.
Right, exactly.
And so that's why it's important for them to understand. So along with all of those things and some wonderful opportunities at what we call SPAA Theater and Performing Arts Center. It's the address is 371 Artist Walk in Park Forest, Illinois. Our phone number is 708-785-7371. And also we have a website that you can go to. It's www.SPAA, which is SPAA Theater, THEATER.org. That's www.spatheater.org, and it has all the information about upcoming shows, auditions, our programs that we're involved in and doing. We're always looking for instructors and teachers, and certainly youth, adults, even we do classes for seniors. So anyone that's interested in doing anything, we certainly would love to hear from you, and we'll be happy to do everything that we can.
And I'll put the number, it'll come up, it'll scroll, on the screen and on the bottom. Because I could just talk to him forever, but we don't have forever. Because first he locked us out and wouldn't let us in.
I apologize. Please forgive me. It'll never happen again. And in fact, I'll make sure that you all have a few tickets for the show. How about that? To try to make it up to
now
you.
He's redeemed himself, so now
Thank
we forgive him.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Mary and I got that banging on the please. Please.
I apologize. That's your fault for when they're interviewing people over 50. See, so we don't always remember stuff, and many of the folks y'all see peeking in, they're part of our